United States Icelandic Horse Congress. This afternoon, you will be introduced to the Icelandic horse in its traditional use as a riding horse. They're used in many other disciplines as well as dressage, jumping, endurance, and driving. Icelandics can also be ridden Western, given a proper fitting saddle. Notice I said Icelandic horse. This is not a pony. Although they are typically about 13.2 to 14.2 hands, Icelandic horses are quite strong and averaging 800 pounds in weight will carry a 250-pound adult rider without any problem. They come in over 40 color variations: black, chestnut, gray, bay, palomino, roan, all shades of dun, and buckskin, just to name a few. And all of these colors come in pinto variations. They have full, thick, long manes, forelocks, and tails. In the winter, they grow a double coat to protect him from rain, snow, ice, and wind. The lifespan of an Icelandic is 25 to 30 years and sometimes up to 40 years old. It is common to ride them well into their late 20s. There is a population of about 4,000 Icelandics in the U.S. This makes them fairly rare, although they are becoming more recognizable every day. Iceland began exporting them to Europe about 40 years ago, and they have swept through that continent, where they now number almost 100,000 head, making it one of the most popular breeds for the pleasure riding and family market. Here in the United States, their popularity is rapidly growing for the same reasons that have made it so popular all over Europe. Horses were brought to Iceland, the land of fire and ice, in 865 AD by the Vikings. By 1100 AD, Iceland had banned the import of any additional animals, so these horses have been purebred from the original stock for over 1,000 years. They have been primarily bred for the purpose of being ridden transportation in a country with a dangerous environment of volcanoes and glaciers. Therefore, they were bred to be intelligent, sensible, and extremely comfortable to ride over long distances, sure-footed and strong. They are the logical choice for the farmers of Iceland to use during the annual sheep roundup and are exemplary for trekking over any terrain. Most of us who have horses as part of our lives these days have them for the pleasure that they bring. We want horses that are easy to keep, easy to live with, have common sense, are comfortable to ride, and are glad to see us when we come out to the barn. The Icelandic horse embodies all of these characteristics, making them pure pleasure to their owners and riders. Icelandic horses are either 4-gated or 5-gated. They walk, trot, canter, tolt, and some can perform the flying pace. At the end of this demonstration, you will be hearing from Gudmar Peterson of Gudmar Peterson Icelandic Horses, who will explain in detail the different gaits of the Icelandic horse while our riders demonstrate them for you. Icelandic horses usually compete in gated shows, sometimes on the frozen lakes of Iceland or on hockey rinks in the U.S. Since they walk, trot, and canter, they can compete in any show or discipline. Icelandic horses are extremely good jumpers because of their large, strong joints and competitive nature. A number of hunt clubs in the Northeast have Icelandics jumping with them, clearing 3-foot stone walls without pause. Icelandic horses have been recommended for driving by some of the leading experts in that activity, particularly for obstacle driving because of their courage and good sense. Icelandic horses do well in dressage because of their strength, athleticism, and flexibility. Many Icelandic horses learn dressage as a part of their basic training. They are also extremely good competitive distance riding horses. An Icelandic in California has won national endurance awards in past years. As pleasure riding horses, Icelandics simply have no equal. It is for this purpose that they have been bred for 1,000 years. Their combination of common sense, sure-footedness, and comfortable gaits are unequaled anywhere in the horse world. Just think, at any point in your ride, you can dismount and not worry about finding a stump or a rock in order to get back on your steed. The Icelandic horse matures slowly, and training is never started until the age of 4 and sometimes 5 years of age. Icelandics are not considered fully mature until 6 or 7 years old. Prior to training, the young horse will stay with the herd and live outdoors. This system of raising horses in the wild herd in open spaces is an essential part of creating the unique personality of the Icelandic horse. The horses will treat humans with respect as they have only been handled occasionally, and they learn to behave within the herd. The outcome is a spirited and forward-going horse with a high regard for its rider. Icelandic horses are extremely good bonding horses. They form strong relationships with their riders and take very good care of them. There is an enormous amount of trust between Icelandic horses and their riders. That trust, in addition to the enormous common sense of the horses, is what allows riders to do things with them that you simply could not safely do with other horses. Growing up with no natural enemies has also greatly influenced their personalities in a positive way, making them much more curious instead of frightful. You were all invited to visit with members of the Northeast Icelandic Horse Club and the United States Icelandic Horse Congress at the Icelandic Horse booth in the Breed Pavilion located in the Stroh building. Please look for the Congress display where the Trade Council of Iceland has set up the unique three-ring structure. Learn about exciting horseback trips to Ireland with representatives from Estar and visit with the representatives from Pangea Equestrian Services and Gudmar Peterson Icelandic Horses. Icelandair will have representatives available to display within the council space as well. A variety of Icelandic horses will be showcased during the event in a special display stall, so you can see an Icelandic horse anytime you wish. There will also be 2 Icelandic horses competing in the versatile horse and rider competition this year. Please make sure to look for the Knights of Ireland performing in this year's Pfizer Fantasia. Now I will give the microphone over to Gudmar Peterson. Gudmar Peterson,